Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to Starry Snowman video tutorial. Let's get started. I have out my pre-traced canvas. If you have ordered the complete kit, you have a pre-traced canvas as well. If you ordered the digital download, you have a tracer and you can either freehand it or grab some graphite paper and trace it onto your surface yourself. I have out on my palette blue, white, and a little bit of tan. It's actually called fawn. You can use brown and lighten it up as much as you need to. I am loading my brush with white to start with, and I'm adding a little bit of pressure to my brush because I want to get the paint up into the bristles. And I'm going to just start base coating in everything white. So that means my snowman to begin with, and then part of my background and my hill. You can paint right over the little tree. You should still be able to see your lines, or we will come back in and put it where it needs to be. I do paint in my snowman separate because I want my paint strokes on my snowman's body to be rounded. And then I want my strokes at the bottom of my hill, or in my hill, to be a little curvy to go with the hill. Okay. I'm going to do this little line here. And then we're going to do the big swirl as well, which is this one here. If you need to use a smaller brush, you can. Whatever you feel comfortable with. You don't want to use too small of a brush though, because then you'll have way too many brush strokes. It's okay if you get the white in other places, because we do our painting from the bottom layer up. So if you have white and you paint it outside the lines, don't fret, because as we move on from step to step, you will be able to fix any of that with the next layer or the next step or even another step after that. So don't worry. There is a method to my process. Okay. Now I'm just going to pick up a tiny, tiny bit of blue on my corner, and I just want to shade in here a little bit of the side of my snowman, just so he kind of pops a little bit in our white hill. Not too much, just a little bit, tiny, tiny bit more. And then I'm going to do this side. Okay. I might have done a little too much blue, so all I'm doing is picking up some more white on my brush and adding in white to that. Okay. Now I'm just going to, while I have the blue on my brush, I'm just going to wipe it off on the bottom and just put a little bit of streaky blue down here on the bottom of my canvas. And then I'm going to pick up a corner of this tan or this fawn, or if you have brown, a little bit of the brown, just on the very corner. And I'm putting it in here a little messy because we want to be able to see our hill. And then we want to be able to see our snow. Okay. So I'm picking up more white paint and I'm just going over it a little bit just to tone it down. But you can see a little bit of brown in here and then a little bit of blue in here for our snow. Okay. Now I'm not even going to wash my brush. I'm going to go into the blue and I'm going to start at the top and we're going to start adding in our blue sections. Now this is just, let me get this line in here. Okay. This is just color blocking to get us started. And turn my canvas a little bit. And just coloring in this whole section up here with the blue. Okay. I am painting on a 9x12. I just happen to be painting in a 9x12 mixed media pad and not on a canvas. Now I'm going to pick up some white and we're going to do this part in here. And it's going to be a little bit like lighter blue, not quite as dark as our top rung or our top row or our top section. We're mixing a little bit of white with our blue. And we're going to paint in this section here. I'm using my brush on the chisel edge so it's narrower. And I can get a smaller area of paint covered. Okay. Then I'm going to come down here to the bottom. And we're going to start painting in this section. Again, I want to trace my line. If you get some on the scarf, it's okay. We can paint around that, or when we add in our scarf, which will be in our detail section at the end, we can totally fix that. I'm going to get a smaller brush for that little curlicue in there. But for now, I just want to paint in this section here around our snowman, around his body. Okay, let me get a smaller brush while we're here. I'm going to twirl it in there, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add in the curlicue. Okay. This does not have to be perfect. As you know, this is Starry Snowman, and there's going to be a lot more detail going on. So if you don't have complete coverage, or you picked up a little bit of white in your brush, or a little bit of tan in your brush, don't worry about it. The tree is going to go over there because we have so much detail and so much going on with this after. It's all going to be okay. Okay? So now that we've base coated in all our sections and our entire canvas, right, we're going to get started with the details. So I don't need my big brush anymore. I'm going to put my big brush in the water, and I'm going to clean my medium round brush. I'm going to put a little bit of black, just a little. And I'm going to make a bit of a darker blue here with my black. Not too much. A little bit of black goes a very long way. I just put in barely a drop. I'm rolling my brush in the paint. And we're going to come up here and I'm going to start putting in our dashes. Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to roll my brush. And I'm going to start putting in some dashes. Okay, as we get down, we're going to put in these little, I'm going to take my dashes and just sort of outline the circles for the stars. These do not have to be perfect. These can be wherever you want them to be, but I'm just sort of putting them in there where we're going to want them. You can follow the picture, the reference image exactly like it is, or you can just put them where you want. It's totally up to you. Okay. And now I'm going to come in, I'm going to go back to my dashes. And I don't want these lines to be straight. I want them to curve a little bit and do a little bit of wave in the sky. So as I come in here, it's going to hop over that one. They're going to curve down a little bit, hop over and out. So you're not just drawing straight lines here. They have a wave to them, a little bit of a wave to them. So they're going up and down and over to the other side. You can start adding in a little bit more blue to your brush. So we have a variety of colors. I'm coming up and around that guy now. And then I'm going to come down and around this one. And I'm just tapping in my blue paint. If my brush gets wonky, I'm going to come back to my palette, straighten up the fibers on my palette, and go back to brushing. And we're just curving around all these sections where we're going to put our stars. Okay? Now I'm going to pick up a little bit of the white on my dirty brush, make an even lighter blue. And I'm going to come back in here and in between, I'm going to start adding in some lighter blue. Not too much. Again, we want it to be wavy. Heading down, come back over here to my lighter. And nothing about this project is perfect. If your blue is a little lighter than mine, it's all okay. The important thing is that you hop over your stars and that you change color a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to come down here now into this next section, and we're going to do this section again. This section to start with. I'm going up and I'm following around. I have my dirty blue with a little black. I have my original blue. And I'm just following in here, going up and then coming down. So up the hill, up there, and down. If you want to use the little flat brush, you can, if you think that's going to be easier for you. Totally up to you. These are just little dashes, and you want them to have a wave in them. I'm going to come back here using my same brush. I'm just picking up a little bit of white. So I have a little bit of light blue, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to start adding in these dashes, following the waves and putting in a little bit more of this design, but now with our light or lighter blue, I should say. Okay. And then last but not least, we're going to do the same thing down here. I might have to switch brushes for down here. So I'm making a little bit more of my darker blue with just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of black. And I'm coming in here and I'm just adding in these little dashes. And they're going up. And then they're going down. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make a little bit lighter blue. And I'm going to do the same thing. So there we have that going on. I'm going to go back to my medium brush. I'm going to wash it out a little bit. And on our white, we want to put blue. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, and I'm going to make a light blue over here. So I put a little bit of white into my blue, and I'm making this light blue. I'm curling my brush between my thumb and my pointer. And we're going to come back in here, and now we're going to start adding in. And now you can really see them. Short, little, dashy strokes. Following the curve. They might fix my brush. Of these swirly shapes. I like to think of them as waves. I think they more represent wind than anything. It should be windy night instead of starry night, in my opinion anyway. But I digress. So I'm just coming in here. My brush starts to get a little funky. I come back to my plate. I roll my brush. And then I come back adding in these little dots. And I just follow the design. So we start up, we come down the hill, then we go back up the hill. If yours are bigger than mine, that's okay. As long as yours are uniform and all of yours are the same, that's totally okay. Yours might be bigger than mine, yours might be smaller than mine, but as long as they're matching and it's all your art, it's totally okay. I'm going to come into this section. You could have painted this section all blue like the top. I added in this light blue area. And now I'm just using the dark blue and I'm putting it in here as well. If you wanted to make this whole top part blue and then the white and then the blue and then the white and then the blue, you go right ahead. And again, the important part is that you keep this wave and curve going. Okay? I'm going to pick up my straight dark blue down here. And I'm going to start filling in a little bit up here. When I first did these were a little bit lightened with white, but now I'm doing straight blue in between. You want to be able to see the white through it. You're not covering this up completely, but adding in this design. Make a little bit more light. Now I'm adding even more white to this so I can make it even lighter. But I'm going to continue to roll my brush so my fibers and my brush are nice and neat. I have a point at the tip of my small medium round brush. And now I'm just adding in some of this lighter blue here. This can be a lot of fun. Just go with it. There's nothing perfect about it. It does not have to be perfect. We don't judge our painting until we're done because we have so many other things to add to it. And once we're done and we add all the details to our snowman, that's going to be the focal point of our art anyway. And so if you mess up some of these dots or dashes, or you think you didn't do a dot or a dash correctly, don't worry about it because we have so much more to add. That's not even going to be the focal point. Our snowman and our little tree in the front is what's going to be the focal point to our art. The important part is to have a variety of color and to not completely fill it in. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush. Okay. Then we're going to come back down with our light blue again. And we're going to fill in this section. And up. We have our scarf in there. That little piece right there. Actually, I think that little piece is probably the dark blue. Okay, let me go back to my light blue. Okay, and then back to my dark blue again. Little tiny strokes that curve. Okay. And then we're just going to put a couple of, actually, I'm going to put a couple of dark blue or light blue right in here. You can't really see that, but that's okay. And then I'm going to wash my brush. Now I'm going to make a little bit of dark brown over here. I picked up some of my brown. I picked up a little bit of black. And I'm just going to come in here and do our tree trunk. Okay, that's all. And I'm going to wash my brush. I get out a little bit of green and a little bit of yellow. Okay. When we do our stars, we want to make sure that our blue is completely dry or you're going to end up with green stars, not yellow stars. So while my blue is drying, I'm going to start working on my snowman. First, I'm going to fill in his hat with some black. Okay. Then I'm going to use my back of my brush and I'm going to give him two eyes. Then I'm going to use the back of my brush and I'm going to give him a smile. I'm going to use the back of my brush and I'm going to give him some buttons. Then I'm going to come over here to my green. And I'm going to do my scarf. So I'm just using my little medium brush that I've been using this whole time. I swoop under his neck. I swoop out for the scarf there, and I swoop down for the scarf here. And then we're going to pick up a little black here and mix that in. And this is going to be the little shaded area, and that is going to be where our scarf knots. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and we're going to add some yellow to it. Now I'm going to pick up my liner brush. I'm going to go back into my tan. And we're going to put these little tiny lines around our snowman. I'm just dashing them in here with the tan. And we're just outlining all the segments of his body with these little tiny strokes. Give him some eyebrows. Let's give him some highlights on the hat. I'm going to put out a tiny bit of orange. clean my brush. I'm going to roll this small brush in the orange. And then I'm just going to lay it down and pick it up for his carrot nose. I'm going to go back into my green and I'm going to start working on my tree. I'm using the medium round brush and I'm being a little bit wispy with it. I'm not worrying about my fibers being so close together this time and my brush being nice and neat. And I'm just pulling out to the left and the right, to the left and the right, to the left and the right. And now I'm going to pick up a little bit of the dark brown that we made and just add that in here. Give it a little bit of shading, left and the right, so you can see it. Okay. And I'm going to wash my brush. Okay. I'm going to come over here with a little bit of yellow, and I want to add some yellow to my scarf. Almost making like a plaid pattern. So I'm making horizontal or vertical lines, and then I'm just pulling in some vertical and then some horizontal lines, making the fringes really yellow on the bottom and making a sort of plaid design on our scarf. I'm going to roll in my yellow paint. You want to make sure that your blue is absolutely dry. And we're going to start putting in our stars. When I do my stars, I work from the inside out. So I start small in the middle and then get larger as I go to the outside. So I start small in the middle and then bigger as I work my way to the outside. If you want to do 2 coats, you can. It is up to you. I turned mine upside down, so I'm not reaching across my art and putting my arm in what I've already painted. It's up to you if you want to go back in and go over your yellow. Yellow tends to be a bit translucent. Pretty much any yellow paint you use. So I can come back here now and go back over these in here that I didn't think were very dark to begin with. And if you want to use the smaller brush for this, go right ahead. Okay? And we didn't outline the ones down here, but that's okay. It works just the same. Because this yellow is going over the blue anyway. There's one, and then we'll put one in here. And I'm going to do the same with some white. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to come into my nice fresh white. And these white ones are little. Okay, we have maybe 3 sections. Actually, that one looked like a face. Had to fix that. So we will have a dot in the middle, and then maybe 1 ring, and then 2 rings. Dot in the middle, and then we go around that dot, and then we go around the outside. Not too big. Oh, I should have another yellow one there. Look at that. And you can put as many or as few of these as you want. I'm going to wash my brush. I missed the yellow one up there. Okay. So here I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm going to go up and over, almost like we're making a rainbow, because this is a half a one. Okay. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, and I'm just going to come in here and in a few rows, not too many, I want to add some white highlight. Not too much. Same thing in this section. And then the same thing in this section. Just a little sporadic white. I'm going to even add a little bit of white to my tree. Make it a little snowy. And there we have it. Let me turn you guys around. Pull this out. And so here we go. Here's our starry snowman. Thanks for joining, and I will see you next time.